Good day, everyone. This is Paul, and today I'm going to switch things up a little bit by actually reviewing a movie. Now, I'm not going to make this a habit because I'm really not that good at reviewing movies, but I have been wanting to get back to doing Catholic stuff for a while now, and I've just been, really excited to catch up on video game reviews because of, my new website coming up and all that. I'm trying to celebrate. But there's a movie that I've seen a lot of times and have extremely mixed feelings for that I want to try to focus on the positive a bit more in an otherwise negative environment. And that is the film Soul Surfer, which depicts the true story of Bethany Hamilton, who is now a very famous surfer, and when she was only a teenager, got her arm bitten off by a shark, and yet still learned how to surf with one arm and still kept her faith in God. Maybe not perfectly, but she still believed in God, and she believed that God had a bigger plan for her life. Now, I actually had the privilege of reading the book, admittedly after I saw the movie, but I did get a chance to read the book. And I liked it. It wasn't so much a story as it was just Bethany Hamilton reflecting on her life because, it was kind of an autobiography. The movie sort of dramatized what she had to go through and put much more of an emphasis on story than on autobiographicalness. So, I'm not going to bother listing every single difference between book and movie because they're pretty much opposite mediums. But I will say if there's one thing that the movie just really nailed, it's the faith. Because Anna Sophia Robb, the girl that they got to play Bethany, she was also a practicing Christian, and so Bethany really wanted the movie to convey, that God is in control and God is like the ultimate power. And even though at times that may feel a bit forced, it's not nearly as much so as some of Pure Flix's movies, like say God's Not Dead or Do You Believe. The religion is used subtly and it's used in context. The movie doesn't forget that overall it's a surfing movie and overall it's supposed to be an inspirational story of a surfing teenage girl that had to basically relearn her techniques. So, if another thing the movie did really well was the actual surfing. Now, I'm no fan of surfing, but because this is a movie that revolves around surfing, I was kind of hoping it would be accurate to the real thing. And with Bethany Hamilton herself being one of the stunt doubles, she actually ensured that it would be something that those of us that don't surf could actually say, you know what, that actually might be kind of cool to do. And since Dennis Quaid and Helen Hunt, respectively playing Bethany's parents in the film, they actually knew how to surf, that was also pretty cool because I'm a stickler for things being really accurate to real life. So when they're surfing in the movie, they actually know what they're doing. It's not just some stunt double that looks like them. So another thing that I really liked about the movie was the fact that Anna Sophia Robb somehow knew how to capture the excuse me, the awkwardness of doing things one-handed when she's used to living her life with two hands. Now, I know that she just had to wear a green sleeve over her left arm, but the movie does a good job of convincing you otherwise. Some of my favorite scenes involve the one where she's trying to cut up fruit with just one hand, or when she goes to the grocery store and ends up spilling things. She acts very convincing, and even Bethany herself, when she did a whole behind the scenes on the movie in the book, or the updated version of the book at least, she says, dang, she really nailed it. I also loved the mission trip scene where the kids get to go on a bus and experience what true poverty is like. And even though Bethany doesn't explicitly mention God, you can tell that she's trying to bring God to the community by her actions. They had just experienced their land being torn apart by a flood. And so, as a result, Bethany is trying to encourage them to get back in the water. And as a result, she's acting like she sees Christ in all of these little kids. I thought that was just beautiful. Plus, fun fact, because I love fun facts, Bethany Hamilton herself actually appeared as an extra. If you look really closely, there's a scene where there's a girl carrying a crate, which they use that to hide her missing arm, and I just love cool cameos like that. However, this movie was not perfect. It was pretty close to perfect. This is definitely one of the better adaptations I've seen. But there were a couple of things I had problems with. One was that I would have to say that one problem I had with the movie was the fact that they didn't really do a good sense of conveying modesty. Now, I know I'm not supposed to talk about modesty on YouTube, but it does feel slightly disconnecting in a movie that's so focused on God that some of the characters dress like they're models. And in fact, there's even a photo shoot at one point in the movie that might disturb some very sensitive people. Now, I know that Bethany herself was a little bit weary about doing those scenes because she expresses in the book that she's a devout Christian and likes to cover herself as much as possible. So I'm kind of disappointed that some of the scenes that the movie makers added sort of took away that ideal of her Christian values on modesty even more than they should have. Now, I get it. They're in Hawaii. They need to wear certain outfits that we in Michigan wouldn't need to because it's hot out there and you can't just go in regular clothes to surf because I'm pretty sure that would disrupt like the flow of the surfer. Stuff like that. But I guess being not a surfer, I guess I can't nitpick. I was also a little bit disappointed in the fact that the movie does have a couple of loose ends with regards to romance. Now, I get that this is based on a true story, and to my knowledge, Bethany did not end up even dating when she was a teenager. I could be wrong on that, but the movie teases that she might have had a crush, but it never resolves it. Now, I hate romance movies, like with a passion. Ugh, they make me sick. The only movie I can think of where I actually like the romance is in Groundhog Day. And even that's a stretch. So, but I at least like things to have um closure. And the movie doesn't do that. So, that kind of stunk. Plus this is also Carrie Underwood's acting debut, and she gets one major scene, and the rest are mostly just cameos, which I was a little bit bummed at because I love her music and I was kind of hoping for more from that. And if there are any other things that I don't like about the movie, they're mostly nitpicky, and since I'm not good at reviewing movies, I'm not going to try to embarrass myself further. Suffice to say that if you're the type that is easily squeamish, they do a pretty good job of making the shark scene really accurate, and sometimes they go a bit overboard with allowing the actresses to show way more of their bodies than the original Bethany would have approved of. But other than that, this is a pretty top-notch movie with good Christian values that really does a good job of motivating us that even if we have a handicap, that we should never forget that God still can manage to make a masterpiece out of a mess. So thank you very much for listening to my spiel, and I hope that you'll let me know how I did, because maybe, just maybe, I might review another movie. Though I don't watch too many movies, so I might not do that to begin with. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this somewhat, and until next time, keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless.